Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Joel's College of Swing Era Knowledge. All right. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is safe and well out there. Let me turn that down a little bit. Welcome to Joel's College of Swing Era Knowledge. Oh man, I don't know what it looks like in there, but this looks crazy today. So a very rare treat, a no hat night for the College of Swing Era Knowledge and Lindy Hop Jitterbug topic tonight, mostly Lindy Hop. And the focus for this evening is going to be 3-wall whips. Now, I have a whole bunch of stuff out there, especially when we first started. I was actually doing this every week, and then just because of schedules and kiddos, went to like twice a week. And there was a session back in April 22nd to be exact, and I in the description of tonight's class, I have the link to that class. So you might want to check that out. I did a little series where we talked about Dean and Jewel versus Frankie and Frida, if you had to label it smooth or Hollywood style versus Savoy style. And in that particular session, we talked about Dean's whip. And then after going through all that stuff, I started to write down a bunch of other ideas I had for College of Swing Era Knowledge. And as I was thinking of them, a lot of things that popped into my head were, I wish we still saw that either in competitions or on the social dance floor. But what's funny is as I typed it today, I thought, really, this is a list of things that I wish I remembered on the social dance floor. Hi, Tasha Joy. Good to see you. Welcome. Anybody else out there, give a shout out. It's always, I am still not used to this. It's just weird just talking to a screen. So the more you can interact and just a wave or something is helpful. But anyway, things I still wish existed could also be described as things I hope I remember to do when we get back to dancing and keep it in the forefront of my memory banks. This step tonight in particular is something that I really like the feel of this step if my partner is in sync with me, and Jackie and I will show a little bit of that. So she's with the kiddos right now, but she'll come down, and we're going to demo the 3-wall whip in just a second. And so I learned this, oh my goodness, I want to say back in 2001, and we were working with Jonathan and Sylvia, who worked directly with Dean Collins, and they showed us all kinds of interesting whip variations or stylings, if you will, that Dean had. And so this concept of a 3-wall whip was something that we would typically add if we were covering Dean Collins' style, if you will. The first thing, of course, is to master the whip. So again, check out that video clip from April 22nd. And so if you haven't seen that yet, tonight might be a little bit for you, but we're going to go through it, make sure we have it super solid, and then, as always, you can take it and run with it and practice, practice, practice. Okay, so let me get my All right, so once again, 3-wall whip, and if as soon as Jackie comes down, Jackie! All right, as soon as she comes down, we will demo what we mean by the 3-wall whip. And then I'm going to go through some exercises that you can do as a leader or follower for the one key moment in the movement. And then after that, address some questions, and then maybe show a couple funky things if things don't go well, if kiddos cooperate tonight. Okay, so without further ado, perfect timing. All right, so we are going to demonstrate a 3-wall whip. Now, when I say a 3-wall whip, what I mean by that is for me as a leader, if I'm facing this way when I start my swing out, my whip, whatever you want to label the movement you're thinking of going into, I'm going to get to the 3 and 4 position, okay? And so when I get to that position, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, we typically are facing the opposite way. Not always, but in general, I'm the other way. And now, when I'm here, I'm going to think 1, 2, 3 will be to you. Yeah? So check this out. So if I'm here, hey, we have Jackie tonight. So if I'm here, I'm going to have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, watch that again. So again, I'm facing here. When I get to the 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So we're in this position. And now, one wall will be the back. Second wall will be behind me. Third wall is directly to you. So I'm going to take that whip idea and turn all the way to this position. And then Jackie's just going to go out straight to you guys. And that's, so when we say 3-wall whip, we're saying it with the orientation of the leader, right? The leader at the what we sometimes call the face-off position, okay? And so another way to think about it is when you start your swing out or your whip, it's going to end to the leader's right, right? So I'm pointing to you, that's my right, and so it's going to end to the screen. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, now watch that from this angle. So now I just flip myself around. So now 3 walls will be away from the camera. So here I am, and I'm going to have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, and now I think the best way you can really see this is now I'm going to face away from you, okay? So then when I get to the 3 and 4 position, I'm looking at the camera. And again, the concept tonight, 3-wall whip, 1 wall, 2 wall, 3rd wall. So Jackie's going to start back where we started. So here we are, or end, I should say, end where we started the first demo. So here I am facing away from you, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's where you can really see the whip or the rotation in this. So what's neat about this, I'm going to do 4 in a row, because if you always end up to the leader's right, so I'm going to start here. My first one's going to go to you. And then the next one's going to go to this wall, or let's say couch. And then, boom, I'm going to go to the back wall. And then the last one, I'm going to come right back to this position. So we're going to dance 4 3-wall whips in a row, just so you can see it. And then we'll go through some exercises and chat a little bit. 5, 6, 4 in a row. We have a 1, 2, 3 wall.
5, 6, 7,
and 2,
2, 3, 4,
3 wall.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
3,
2, 3, and 4,
3 wall.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
And 4.
2, 3, 4,
3 wall.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so that's the move we are working on tonight. So now here's where it gets interesting, because I know a lot of us out there are not fortunate to be at home with a partner. And so now that we've shown you the move a couple times in different angles, I want to go through some exercises for both leaders and followers. So if you're quarantining at home and you're solo, I want you to work through both the leader and the follower movement so you understand these positions. You can be ambidextrous, ambidextrous, and all that good stuff. If you are at home with a partner or with someone, then you can go through this with your partner as I go through the individual movements of this great 3-wall whip figure. Okay, so now, and I don't want to duplicate what we did in that other class. So again, I encourage you to watch the April 22nd Dean Collins section when we talk about the basic whip. So I'm not going to worry so much about the posture, because we cover that a lot to compare and contrast the voice style versus smooth style or Hollywood style. But what I am going to talk about is the movement in the middle. So again, if I'm here, right, and I'm with my partner, right? Don't worry about the hitch kick styling. That's a whole other can of worms, or weeds, as we say in the College of Swinger and Knowledge. And then you probably noticed when Jackie and I got together, we had that whole concept of feet in, butts away. And again, that's a smooth style concept. But again, I don't want to focus there. I want to focus on the movement in the middle. So if the Lindy hop is a step, step, triple step rhythm, leaders, you're going to be on your left foot. Okay, so right now I'm on my left foot. So the quality of movement or the exercise I want to work on. Now remember, 3 walls, 1, 2, 3. So I want to have my weight in the ball of the left foot. I'm going to think about turning my head to look at those 3 walls. So I'm going to turn to look at you. I'm going to think head, shoulders, hips, and the foot is going to be the last thing to come down. Okay, so if you're with me, your weight is in your left foot, and you're going to think about those 3 walls and step. 5, 6, here we go, pivot, step. Okay, so my right foot is pointing right to you. And again, I hit those 3 walls. So again, put your weight in your left foot, and you're going to think head, shoulders, hips, head, shoulders, knees, and you know. Okay, so think, look, the shoulders, the hip, the center moves through, and the foot will be the last thing to go down. 5, 6, here we go, 3 walls, boom. And it just feels really smooth, right? And so now, let's just be here. So wherever you're facing, if you're facing me or whatever wall you're facing, now just go 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to end over here. My weight is in my left foot. 5, 6, here we go. Pivot around and get that nice step. Now notice my weight is forward. I like this angle because I did that rotation and my weight is forward to that position. Yeah? Okay, so now we're at this wall. Okay, think 1, 2, 3 walls. 5, 6, here we go. 3 walls. And get on that right foot. Now, that's the quality of movement that's happening in my feet, but I can't stress enough how much it's happening from my core, my center. Now, the head is the placeholder, right? If you've ever taken a motorcycle class, they always talk about if you're coming around a curve, and if you want to look where you want to go, so you're looking ahead of the curve, if you will. So when I'm looking where I want to go, or golfing, right? You're going to look at the green, look at the pin. Don't look at the water. Don't look at the tree, especially when you're in the motorcycle. Don't look at the tree because you're going to go right at the tree. Don't look at the water. Don't focus on the sand trap. If you look there, you're going to hit it there. So in the middle of the footwork, step, step, triple step. Leaders are on the left foot. Now my head is going to look 3 walls. My center or my core follows through, and the foot is the last thing to come down. I'm going to say that again. The head is the focal point of like looking where I want to go. The core, shoulders and hips come through that movement, and the foot comes down at the end. Because if you think foot, a lot of times when beginners will do this, they're thinking feet. It's very normal. It takes a long time to learn to dance with your core or your center, right? And so once you get that super solid, then this will become a little bit easier, and then that right foot comes down right into that 3 wall position. Now, the one thing I want to do for the leaders in this next part is, and again, we go over this in a little more detail on that April 22nd video. I'm trying to think, where's the best? So I want to go here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if I'm here, I'm facing away from you. Weight's in the left foot. I'm going to rotate my head, shoulders, and hips. And I'm going to come here. Boom. Now again, you can see that my weight is forward. But look at my left arm. My left arm is out here to the side. Right? Now that's really important. That's important in the whip, and it's extremely important in the 3 wall whip because of that extra rotation. Now, what's important is you got to understand that when you do this whip, it's like a box, right? And if you have that box and you fold the box, right? So you have a box structure. I'm trying to get my hands in the right spot. So you have a box and you fold it. So when I'm here with my partner, let me be here. I'm not going to rotate because I want you to see what I do here with my arm. So I'm at 3 and 4, and I'm in this position. Now pretend I rotated, but I'm going to take this box-like structure that's here, and I'm going to fold it. See how my right hand too comes closer to my chest, and my left arm comes out. You can kind of play around with this, whether it's low or way far out to the side. That's something you just got to play with your partner, depending on both your arm lengths and whatnot. So as I rotate, I fold. Now you can see I'm all folded up here versus having my arms out in that position. That's the other thing besides the feet that I find the leaders have a really hard time with, because if you keep your frame too stiff, too structured, too box shaped, and you go to do this whip, you're not. It's going to feel like you're really shoving your partner around the dance floor, and you want it to feel like there's this sweet pivot, whoosh, 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 and it's like the end of this whip. You just get a little extra rotation on it. So for the leaders, pivoting on the left foot, stepping on the right foot, getting in that direction, and then folding the arms. Oh, so Jackie says she's watching. So Jackie, come on down. All right, so I want to show or demo the specific things that we just talked about for the leader and break down some certain spots so you can see that with a partner, right? And so right now we're going to isolate that middle position. Okay, so remember we're coming from an open position, step, step, triple steps, step, step, triple step gets us back into closed position, and then we're going to work on that rotation we just did for our quality of movement. Now, as Jackie's coming down, if you really want to emulate the style, again, watch the April 22nd and see how stylistically we changed to make it look more smooth versus Savoy, Dean versus Frankie. But that's just a stylistic choice. My point in bringing that up is it doesn't matter whether you're doing Savoy style, smooth style, Joel style, whatever style. At that moment, in the middle of the swing out, when you have what we used to call that the face-off position. I don't know if people still use that when they're teaching. But at that moment, that's where I have the choice to do this rotation and this three-wall whip. Okay, so when we get to this position, we're here in the middle, and I want you to see how this fold happens. Okay, so when we get here, whatever wall we're at, so again, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. Jackie's going to go away from you. So I'm in this position. I'm going to rotate and get to this position. You can see how we're folded up here. My right foot is stepping here, and my head has gone around, and my core has rotated, and I've got that three-wall rotation. And you can see this nice flip here. Now, just like the lesson on April 22nd, when we have the feeling at the end of this, so all of that happens by 5. 6 is just a release of this energy, and Jackie would just step straight away, and then again, I would go right to you guys. So again, if I'm here alone, I do 3 walls, step on the right foot, release, trip, full step, and my boot tray will be to you. So watch that again with Jackie and see the fold. 1, 2, 3, and 4, twist 5, release 6, and resolve 7 and 8. Okay, so again, if you're at home alone, do the leader's footwork. If you're with somebody, go ahead and get connected, right? Wherever you are, it doesn't matter what wall you're looking at. Just count 1, 2, 3, and that's where the leader wants to look at the end. I'm going to count you in, get a nice pivot, and try to get that nice fold.
I wasted my right foot.
Okay, actually, we're going to freeze at 5. We're going to freeze at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, pivot, 5. So check your hand. Check your feet. If you're with a partner, you've folded the box. If you're solo, your arm is out and you're good to go. Now release all this energy to 6, 6, and then we trip full step to resolve. Okay, let me go on this angle just so you can see this fold again. So I'm here. Here's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you can really see that angle where we're folding this box versus being structured, right? So I do want to show you 2 bad ones on the leader end. I'm going to worry about my feet versus my body, so I'm probably not going to get rotated enough. And I'm not going to fold my arm. So, sorry, Jackie, but it's going to feel like I shove you around the floor. Okay? So, here we are. So again, this is a bad one. Just want you to watch this one time. So I'm going to bring her in. I'm thinking 3-wall whip, but I'm going to, and I didn't fold, and my foot went right about here because I just thought about like moving my foot. Now watch again. I'm going to think about my body. I'm going to think about that fold here.
2,
Boom,
4,
body,
5,
fold.
6, 7, and 8.
And that feels a lot better,
Oh, yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah?
Nice and sleep.
Okay, and so watch again. We're going to do 4 in a row. And now that you watched it before and we had that leader quality movement breakdown, watch for the rotation of my head and hips. Watch for that right foot going to that perfect spot. And watch for the folding of the arms. And you're going to see all 4 angles. If you want to dance it with us, if you're at home with a partner, great. If you just want to watch, that's fantastic as well. All right, 4 in a row. 5, 6, here we go. Here's 1.
2, 3, and 4.
And I look
5,
and move.
6,
Nice
7,
and smooth.
8.
2.
1 and 2, 3 and 4.
Look
5, 6,
and head.
7, and 8.
3.
1 and 2, 3
Look
and
at the
4.
fold.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
And the last one.
2, 3 and 4.
And the fold.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
And so in 4 swing outs, I've hit all 4 walls of the room, which is super, super fun as well, right? So not only are you working this, again, these are things I wish still existed. So it's a really unique feeling in the middle. And then you're also working different angles of the floor, which is really nice. So it's not just like so slotted or you're just kind of feeling like you're stuck in one position while you're doing your movement. And again, tonight we're taking this independently. If you want to be a smooth dancer or a Savoy dancer or a Dean emulator or a Frankie emulator, I'm talking about right in the middle of the swing out. You have that opportunity, leaders, to create that rotation, to fold up your frame, and then here's the tricky part. If your follower is open to feeling these things, then it's going to work well. So what I mean by that is, let's go through followers movement really quick, because obviously if I'm rotating 3, let's go this way. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. Jackie will go to you. So here we are. So obviously Jackie's weight is on her right foot. And so when I do my pivot on my left, she's mirrored from me. So she's going to pivot on her right foot and just step that left foot back. So you can see my right foot is pointing right to you, and Jackie's left foot comes back right to you. And then we step back on 6. So the same exercise, if you want to work some quality of movement really quick, for the followers, you're just going to pivot clockwise on your right foot. Right? So let's all play follower for a second, because again, I want you to understand the movement. So whatever wall you're facing, okay? So you're facing this wall, okay? And you're going to think as a follower, you're going to go clockwise because the leader goes clockwise. And you're also going to go 1, 2, 3, all right? So 3 walls, or another way to think about it, just thought about this. When you get to that position, wherever your left is pointing, that's where you're going to end up. But if I'm following and my weight is on my right foot, I'm going to pivot around to that 3rd wall. Oh, my bad, I got leader on the brain. And I'm going to step back on my left foot. Okay, watch that again. Let me get this right, Joel. So I'm going to pivot on my right foot, 3 walls, and step back. Not a huge step back, but you can see that this is going back where the leaders have moved their weight forward. And I'm still in the ball of the foot, but my weight goes back on the left foot. So once again, for the followers, whatever wall, I'll turn around. Right? So here's 1, 2, 3. So that's the wall I'm going to look at, but my left foot is going to go back. So we're all playing follower right now. Everybody's weight is in the right foot, in the ball of the right foot. Get ready to rotate clockwise, 3 walls, and step back on your left foot. 5, 6, here we go. Pivot 3 walls and step back. And notice I'm not doing that fast. I'm just working on the quality of movement, of moving through and then trying to step back. So you got to play with, as a follower, just like the leader, the quality of movement in your right foot, being able to pivot on that foot. I talked about the leaders having too much frame and then shoving their partners. This is also with the followers as well. So Jackie, if I can borrow you again. When we get to that position, if Jackie holds her frame in such a way that it's super stiff, it's going to be impossible for me to fold. And that's what's also going to make a follower feel like they're being shoved through it. So watch, I'm going to attempt to fold, but Jackie's really going to be stiff in her frame. So 5, 6, here we go. And I go, and see how she gets shoved out this way? Because this arm was so stiff, she didn't let me open it up and fold the box, right? So followers have to have a sensitivity of the frame opening up, have the ability to pivot on the right foot, stepping back on the left.
Cardboard box, not metal box.
Yeah, a nice, easy cardboard box. It's nice and light. Now, the next thing for the followers is, let's say you've been dancing with someone, and they've been doing this the whole time. They bring you in and they send you back out here, right? And so if you get, go ahead and move her before she comes in. If you're assuming that you're going to go into the swing out or the figure that you think the leader is going to do, in other words, stepping back out where you came from, right? So Jackie's going to think she's going to step back this way, but I'm thinking 3-wall whip. So I'm going to try to rotate, but because Jackie thinks she knows she's going to go back that way, she's going to basically break out of the box. And it's going to feel really, really awful in the middle during that rotation. So I bring her into this position, and she's going to take off, and I'm going to try to, see that? She basically came right out of my hands because she took a step forward, trying to get back to where she thought she was going to go, and completely missed that juicy middle part. And there's a lot going on here, folks. Don't get me wrong. This is quite the difficult step when you put it all together. Everything we just talked about, the pivoting on the feet, the folding of the frame, the patience of the follower, the body position of the leaders, all of that happens on the and in between 4 and 5. I'll say that again. All of this happens on the and between the 4 and 5, because you get there, step, step, triple step, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now everything in my being does that 3-wall rotation to the 5. And by 5, I step on my right, Jackie steps on her left, and all that magic happened right in the middle. So you can see where if the music is pretty fast, that could be a pretty overwhelming moment during a whip, 3-wall whip, swing out, whatever you want to label it. And so you really got to work on your technique of the quality of movement on the things that we just did. Followers pivoting on the right foot, stepping back on the left 3 walls. Leaders pivoting on the left, stepping forward into that right foot, and the folding of the frame. Okay, and we talked about the pitfalls of followers going out too early, having too solid of a frame, leaders having too solid of a frame, or just thinking feet and not the rotation of the body. Yeah, sound good? Are there any questions out there? I've been doing this one a long time, and so I had a feeling this is going to be perfect for our half-hour little session. The unfortunate reality is I'm here and all of you are out there. If we were in a classroom setting, we'd be working these exercises, working these different positions, doing 4 in a row, no matter how bad they look or feel. If you've ever taken a class from me, you know you've heard me say that. But we would spend the next half hour really honing the connection and the feel and whatnot. And so this is where it's up to you to take these ideas and really try to work on your quality of movement. If you're lucky enough to be at home with somebody, feel free to try it and get that motion. If you're having a hard time with it, feel free to contact us for a virtual private lesson. We can watch you figure out what you're going through, get some connection points and whatnot. Okay, question, any tips on practicing rotation so we don't feel like we're going to fall over at the end? But Tom, I love you. You just answered the question as to why we should do this practice of that 3-wall rotation. Because if you find yourself as a leader or a follower off balance at the end of that, it is not going to feel any better when you're dancing with a partner. So watch this again. If I am a leader, I don't care what wall. Okay, I'm going to face this wall. So 1, 2, 3 is going to be right to you. So I have to have the ability to be on my left foot rotate around and land with my right foot right to you, solid, centered, and stable. If I come around in that rotation and I over-rotate, I'm falling over, that's not going to feel good. If I come out of this rotation and I under-rotate and it feels too easy, then we've got issues as well. So we got to keep working this 3-wall rotation and get to this solid position, working the arm and the motion. And again, for the follower, weight in the right foot, okay? And so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 walls is going to be here. So as a follower, I'm going to rotate here. And, sorry, as a follower, I'm going to rotate here and step back on my left foot. So it's just working that quality of movement. And like Tom said, if you're off balance, you have to keep working that over and over until it feels balanced.
Yeah, and trying to keep your balance really helps if your knees are bent more. If you're standing straight up, you're definitely going to feel like you're off balance. And then making sure that you're forward with your weight. You're dancing on the balls of your feet. Yeah. So you don't want to be on your toes, and you definitely don't want to be back on your heels.
Yeah, the more you work this movement, you'll feel whether you're solid, centered, and stable versus stumbly, fumbly, and whatnot. Okay, so then let me go back to Tom's question and address it even more besides just practicing what I just did. So if you are having a hard time with it, so then leaders, what I would do is this. I'm facing you, so take baby steps. First thing I'm going to do is just a quarter pivot on my left foot, and I'm going to step with my weight forward just 190 degree to the right. So I'm going to go here. That feels good. Now I'm going to go 1, 2 walls. 2. And that's actually the whip if you watch April 22nd. So I'm facing you. I turn all the way around and I step here. Boom. And now I'm going to go 3 walls. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right, so I'm just working that rotation. So work a baby rotation. Work the actual whip rotation where you just turn around. And then add in 3 walls and get to that position. It is easier when you're connected to somebody, putting this all together, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have the quality of movement on your own as well. So let me do this. I'm going to put on I'm going to put on a song just so you can see it with music. I'm just going to do basic. I'm going to do 4 basic swing outs so you can see the linear motion of that, and then I'm going to do 4 3-wall whips, and then we should be good to go from there. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything super fast. Actually, let me pull up our theme song, but I'm going to slow it down because I don't want to go too crazy. Okay. I'm actually going to do 2 swing outs right back here, and then 4 3-wall whips. So, regular swing out. Happy feet. I've got those happy feet. Now, low down feet, and they begin dancing. I've got those 10 little tapping toes. And when they hear a tune, so you saw 2 of them. You saw 2 of them go right back to where Jackie came from. We can call that a regular swing out. And then I worked 4 3-wall whips. Now, there was one in there where I definitely felt my body under-rotate. I think it was the one where I turned this way. You can go back and look, but watch my feet. There was one where I definitely kind of under-rotated my body. I didn't get enough rotation in there. So again, you'll feel if all the pieces are put together, it just has this real beautiful rotation. You get those 3 walls going, and it's such a cool looking movement and super fun. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's College of Swing Era Knowledge, something really unique that I wish still existed out there. So for all you leaders out there, try to remember this when you get back on the social floor to try it. For all the followers out there that watch to get some inspiration, play this for your leaders once we get back to dancing. And let's get these 3-wall whips back out on the social floor to have some fun.
And then also Joel is teaching the Frankie Manning version of the Tranky-Do. We've only done 1 session, so if you guys want to join in on that, he'll send you the video, And then there's some Zoom practice sessions, so that's really fun too.
Yep. And so if, again, if you have any questions on this stuff, feel free to contact us for private lessons. If this brought you any joy this evening or got you just up and moving and grooving, a little bit of fitness, or brought you some new ideas in your dancing, please consider donating. And as always, night, night, we're crazy about you. Thank you.
Bye.